So thanks for clicking on part 2 of the August garden tour. We're going to jump straight into the video and we'll commence where we basically left off in part 1. And if you have somehow missed the part 1 of the August garden tour, make sure to watch that before you watch this one. Or watch this one and then watch that. It doesn't really matter. So this is kind of spa-esque or kind of, Southeast Asia little area. We've got the mature rhododendron and all the rhododendrons behind forming a backdrop. So it's behind those rhododendrons where that little shaded jungle bit is, and through there you can see the kind of exotic area, grass area there, rose arches, aces just there. But hostas and ferns, these are Dryopteris. A couple more hostas there, heuchera down here. Beautiful azalea there that's actually in a pot. That flowers so well in spring, early summer. Swing seat, little canopy there so you can still enjoy, even when there's a little bit of rain here, is fantastic. Let me show you Lily Anastasia. The pink kind of fades a little from the throat, but you can almost see there the speckling. The scent of these just absolutely fills the garden. I mean, probably from let's use my finger, from about there to probably back there. That's what the range in which you can smell these when the breeze hits just right. See Iris insata, again in a pot with no drainage holes, and I'll need to split that too. Not even a lot of soil in there. Iris insata, again, the best way to treat this, it's like a bearded iris, but rather than dry, you have water. You still want to put the rhizome up, a little bit of soil, not deep soil, a little bit of soil, and it starts to do all this. Lovely. I'll get quite a few more plants from that. And again, if you want lily tips, I've watered this once. There's a couple of key things for lilies. Now that I know that, I mean, look, easy peasy. Easy, easy, easy. To get something like this with basically zero effort, I think is success. There's a little cherry, that's also Kilimanjaro, kind of the twisty one. I've saved this, so I'm quite proud of this. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but as a gardener, you take your losses. You have plants that just die and you get out and you figure to water something, you turn around, something's dead. But every now and then you get to save something from the brink, from 2 leaves, I think as it was kind of summertime last year, to this, that is pride. If you've never had that feeling, that is pride. And then the last thing here is this little passion vine. So passion fruit. This is just the regular one, not a fancy kind of cultivar one. And I wanted this growing up this frame, so we need to direct it a little bit. This stays undercover, so I never really let it get rained on by actual rain. I manually water this because I feel like with the volume of rain and wetness we have, that would be a bit too much for it. It's part sun and it's left outside. It's taken a little while because it was a tiny thing when I got it. This is the 3rd year now, and it's really starting to go for it. I had it on the other side, but that side is too shaded. Give it a little bit of sun, and all of a sudden, wham! It's really starting to go for it. And yeah, left outside. Can you believe it? So, little tip to British gardeners: you can grow passion vine quite easy. And then we come to the rose arch. So it's just a combo climbing roses. And it's been about retraining all these. These were left untrained for, I think, a while. So slowly put the framework in, and slowly we're getting a proper arch here. And then at the base, yeah, you can see what I mean in the wind. I like when we've got this, that kind of coming out over the path very gently. And as you go through, you very gently brush through the grass. This cow parsley thing as well, this is to remind us of Oxford. And you can see, all this stuff is great for ladybirds, Yep. So again, it's that kind of cow parsley-esque. I'll put the name up on the screen because I forgot what it is. I've not really prepared for this, can you tell? Honeysuckle, great companion planting to climbing roses. This kind of takes the brunt of all the aphids. If you have aphids, you can kind of plant this and they'll prefer this and they'll leave your roses alone. Second year, and we've got Clematis Star of India. So again, when you think of climbing roses, don't just do roses, plant other stuff as well. And again, this is the second year for this, and it's kind of just starting to get underway. But you know, put your honeysuckles in, put your clematis in, into your rose arch. And that's the reverse angle. Some daylilies there. This has all been left. I open the soil up a little bit, and then I let things self-seed, and then I kind of rummage, kind of scarify it a little bit. I let things self-seed again. You know, for that wild effect as well, you know, see what happens, see how it shapes. Foxgloves are slowly seeding there, and that's kind of what I want to do naturally, rather than plant them, waste money. I've got some very mature foxgloves having flowered just behind me. I'll show you. I'm going to scarify this soon, so hopefully these seeds of the foxglove have a nice little place to land, and then we'll get nice surprises next year as to how things kind of shape and manifest. You can see the Yucca filamentosa just up there showing up those flowers. Another Fatsia here, Polygonatum fern, Heuchera, a little bit shaded, daylily, this flaris grass. Tricky area. Now you're going to see you see bindweed, and you see every gardener's, well, one of probably the worst 5 weeds, and that of course is ground elder. Yeah, we have ground elder here. Confession. And it's fine. I'll do a video on that. I'll do a kind of top 5 garden weeds and what to do. And you can see that, you know, this area has been neglected this year. There's Lavatera here. These were put in last year. There was a beautiful Rudbeckia laciniata there, herbston. Comes up massive, fills this whole area. Beautiful yellow flowers, yellow daisy flowers. And it just got ravaged by slugs. Same with these Peruvian lilies. I mean, they've come back miraculously. But again, they should have already flowered. These are coming back from the root base, I guess, because they were absolutely, again, ravaged by slugs. You see cannas. I mean, again, the cannas, I've left them in the ground. They've not done well this year. It's just not been warm enough. There's Canna Cleopatra there, which is normally such a beautiful thing. I mean, you can see the coloration in those leaves. And again, this stays in the ground. It has not been hot enough, although it's starting to get going just now. There's a little Musa Basju left in there. Again, he just stays in there. I took the other ones out because I wanted to make the garden more drought tolerant, and bananas don't like drought. And you can see there's a mix of red hot pokers, daylilies. There's little begonias in there, and you can see Miscanthus caudatus. Beautiful. I mean, look at this. You want exotic. Look at that. Love it. There's 2 nice clumps in there. There's this panicum as well. Grasses. So there was an idea here in this grass border. And you can see when you take it in context with the kind of exotic and slightly more jungly vibes, it makes sense, right? You can kind of see what I was going for. Here is going to be a renovation video. We're going to deal a little bit with the weeds, the very bad weeds, and we're going to work with part sun here. Okay, little renovation. We're going to try and continue this grassy feel, but this, you know, it isn't working so much for me at the moment, this. And again, as I said, there's a couple of things in here that were absolutely ravaged by slugs. The jungle. This is in full shade. You've seen this as the backdrop for a few videos. Big rhododendrons here. Little swing seat there. We've got two aces just there. But you can see, you know, what we've got here. Fatsia japonica spider's web throws up the fresh white things. That's in a pot. Ferns are in the ground just here. Fatsia, beautiful. Philostachys nigra, this bamboo there, black bamboo. Now again in a pot. I wouldn't dare plant any of this stuff in the ground. And then in here there's actually an old sink with water. Little habitat zones. Xanthodescias are in there. I'll prune these back maybe after flowering next year and open the sunlight up for that a little bit. You can see we leave all the wild strawberries there just as ground cover. Underrated as ground cover, I think. I mean, super spready and super invasive, but nice ground cover. Couple of ferns in pots, and you see the mousses. So these, you know, probably got to about there last year, and I fleeced them. I double fleeced them, and I put the strolch, the, you know, that kind of straw mulch stuff, all the way up the base, and they're here completely frosted. So all these are babies from this year, and you can see I've actually got quite a few to split. So we got a lot of little bananas. Not as sunny as probably what they ideally want, but there's a balance there, because if you put them in sun, yeah, they'll grow fast, but how are they doing that? They take a lot of water. And I feel like as gardeners we need to be a bit more conscious about the environment. We need to be a bit more conscious about the water that we're using and storing it and saving it. So you put them in a more shaded area, they're not going to grow as fast or as vigorous, and they're not going to require as much water. And you can still kind of have this type of leaf. So these miscanthus, you know, I got from the side of the road. One of our neighbours was giving them away and repotted them. They'll be used in our little grassy area. And then here's the little infirmary. You know, this is where I keep stuff where it's not necessarily decorative. You know, whether it be like little cuttings because they get sun, like the phormiums that we did in the previous video. You can see we've got we'll have 3 little phormiums there. But you know, stuff that's not doing well, a little bit sick, or just don't quite know what to do with it, it kind of goes here and then it gets looked after here. So that's what this is. This is the infirmary. So Gunnera, I've just had to give him a big drink because he's flopping. I mean, Gunnera will let you know. And again, he's in a pot. That is, I want to recall, I think it's a 50-litre pot, although it might be a 100-litre pot. This is his 3rd or 4th year in here. And he's got a dish now, so you kind of just water from the dish. There's a plastic bag that lines the bottom of this pot, because you want him to basically be in a bog, and you can kind of create that, but man, these things are monstrous. You're not allowed to buy them anymore. You're not allowed to sell them, I should say. But you can see when those leaves come back up, it'll take still a couple of hours. But you know, it's quite something. It is a shame. I mean, it's not Gunnera's fault. It's because it was miscategorized. We didn't realize this. What we were calling Manicata is actually a hybrid with the banned one. So by proxy, Manicata is now banned. There's a good article about that. I mean, I'm not going to go on about that in this video. I don't know how nerdy my garden audience is. You can see a couple of things in pots, a couple of dahlias, a couple of persicarias. These are all going to be used in the garden for future videos. Or sempervivums. This is, of course, the exotic zone, let's call it. And one of the most recent videos was, you know, doing these pots. So here's a little update. I mean, look, the begonias and the sage, right? Who knew? And that petunia. I think we did it, guys. I really, really like this still, and I'm not tooting my own horn on that. I think this is a really pretty combo, and I think everyone can do this. I think everyone can achieve it. Had I not had the slug damage, you can see this would be a pretty good, easy thing, and I haven't done a single thing. I've watered it twice in this time. But here's the little exotic bed that we did. Transform your small space. So if we isolate this zone and just consider it, you know, a little small space, I think we'd be very happy this summer. You can see these big acanthus here. Acanthus, I could probably do a 10-minute video on acanthus and how I feel about them. I think they're absolutely divas. They are divas. Once you know what they actually want, then they're fine. But no one ever, I think, tells you exactly what they want. If you want to know more about acanthus, I could do a gardening A to Z, go through some of my favorite plants. But yeah, so that's our little exotic zone. You can see the Xanthodecia has not transplanted that well, but I've done this before and they've come back to life because actually the bulbs or corms have stayed relatively nice. So it might just be a shock and I might actually get growth coming through. So you can see this is our little exotic zone just there. And again, you can see things like the dandelions in the paving. The paving's all old and weathered. A couple of things in pots here, like the persicaria that'll be used in future video. Gunnera, splayed out because it drinks about 10 litres of water every hour. And when it doesn't, it throws a tantrum just like this. You know, and under there's a really nice kind of wooden table. There's a fire pit thing just here. But yeah, I mean, don't you just love that? Love the colours. I'll give you a little reverse shot of this border just through there. We're not precious about the lawn either, by the way. Like, I could not care about having a perfect lawn. There's all daffodils planted in here. There's big patches of daffodils. I'll do a spring video, of course, but yeah, I mean, that's the garden. Actually, there's one final little bit. This is where we keep all of our secrets. So again, this is golden bamboo. Golden bamboo? It is golden bamboo, I know that for sure, but now I've forgotten the name. Philostachus type. You can see goldie, goldie, goldie. Goldie, goldie, goldie. In 2 pots, same size as the Gunnera. I mean, if you really want bamboo, you want a screen, but you don't want to deal with the consequences, just put them in some big pots. But yeah, there's this little area. So, I mean, that's old. I've not taken that out yet because the shelving is useful. You know, pots, 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 and a bench, and a table, and some little kind of composting little things there. Leaves go there in bags, and then I make the leaf mulch. That's behind the jungle. There's another little rhododendron there. But yeah, I mean, you know, this area, I will get to it. There's a little shed there. I will get to this area because you can see you're hidden, you're quite obscured, and if I maybe had more bamboo, or I could do pots with hostas, I could do ferns, I could do a woodland garden in pots for a small space. Oh, does that sound like a good video idea? Wink wink, nudge nudge. No, honestly, tell me, leave a comment. I will let you decide what I do with this little kind of patio area. Maybe give me some ideas, things, you know, be wild, be crazy, be creative. It gets sun, direct sun for maybe, you know, the last kind of couple of hours of a day. So nothing here is ever going to sit in harsh direct sunlight. Not at all. Mostly shady. Give me some ideas, give me some tips. So I hope you enjoyed that garden tour. And again, I can talk a long time about gardening. That is why I do gardening on YouTube, because everyone else got sick of listening to me, and now you get to listen to me. You may have noticed, you know, we've got loads of weeds, you know, bad ones, a couple of really bad ones. You know, and it's hard to stay on top of things, I think. Again, I'm not out here all the time. I'm not, you know, chained to this garden. There's other things in your life that need doing, which is why a lot of the areas are kind of these low maintenance areas, you know. And again, as I said earlier, I didn't want to present this as, you know, here's a garden tour and I've spent, you know, the last week making sure that there's not a single spent flower here, making sure that no one's going to see a weed. I don't want to present that, you know. I want to present it in its glory. I want to present it, you know, in its faults. I want to present it in its decay, and I want to present it in its growth. So you saw there a couple of zones. Let me know, you know, kind of what you think, what your favorite kind of bit is, if you found any inspiration from this. This is probably a long video. So coming up, you know, we've still got the beginner gardening series. I'm going to take you through, you know, kind of cost saving things, from what tools you need, because there's quite a few things that you must do before you actually build a border, believe it or not. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it. It gave you a little bit of insight as well, kind of into what to expect for the future. And the good thing is, you know, with this space, with the area, with this kind of garden renovation angle, there's a lot of different little zones, there's a lot of different challenges, there's a lot of different kind of conditions, shady conditions, sunny conditions, really dry, really quite moist. So there's a range here that allows me to show you and hopefully guide you or inspire you in your own gardens. Thank you so much for watching. Again, you know, subscribe, show some love, show some appreciation. I would love to reach out to more people and share this passion of mine. And very importantly, make it low maintenance, make it approachable, make it fun, and hopefully save you a lot of money on the way, because, you know, there's things are getting expensive, and there's a lot of stuff I see people do that can be done a lot cheaper. So until the next video, cheerio.